But we do begin tonight with the collapse of those two U.S. banks. President Biden taking emergency action to try to calm fears amid key questions tonight. How safe are other banks and who's paying for this? President Biden speaking just before the stock markets open today, trying to reassure Americans that the banking system is safe and saying customers at both banks will have access to their accounts. The president at the same time insisting this is not a bank bailout. Federal regulators taking control of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, customers lining up today to withdraw their money. Many regional banks posting losses on the market today. First Republic stock dropping more than 61%. Several banks forced to temporarily halt trading. President Biden insisting no taxpayer money will go toward addressing this, saying, quote, the money will come from the fees that the bank pay to the Deposit Insurance Fund. And he said there would be accountability for the leaders of these banks. Our chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, leading us off tonight from Wall Street.
Today, bank customers from Boston to New York to California swarming Silicon Valley Bank branches after a frantic weekend.
We have to meet payroll this afternoon, so that's why I'm here.
Federal regulators granting them access to their accounts.
You can take all your money.
It comes after the government seized the assets of two failing banks during a dizzying 72 hours. President Biden today trying to reassure the American people.
Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe. Your deposits will be there when you need them. Small businesses across the country, the deposit accounts at these banks can breathe easier knowing they'll be able to pay their workers and pay their bills.
The Treasury, FDIC, and Federal Reserve taking emergency steps to guarantee all deposits in Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank are paid back in full. Even those deposits over the federally insured amount of $250,000. All of it, the president says, will be paid for by the banks.
No losses will be borne by the taxpayers.
We're not bailing out banks. We're actually rescuing depositors in banks that made some bad decisions over the course of the last year or so.
Today's move is a lifeline for SVB customers like Tiffany Dufu, who was panicking over the weekend.
Yes, I am in an airport bathroom at 6:30 a.m. crying.
The founder of a career coaching startup and mother of two had to tap personal savings to pay her 10 employees.
It was already intense trying to figure out how you're going to send your kids to college.
Tonight, even after those emergency actions, Tiffany tells us she'll feel safer as soon as she moves her money to a bigger bank.
I will be so relieved when our money is back in that Bank of America account, and I think that's who I'll be sticking with.
The government hopes today's emergency steps will boost confidence in the financial system and prevent a run on smaller banks. Banks like First Republic, which scrambled to reassure its customers it was stable, announcing the bank received additional funding. But that didn't stop some from withdrawing money today.
To pull my money out, unfortunately. I love First Republic. Don't want to, but nevertheless, it's scary.
Small banks don't face the same stress test that big banks do, even though some, like SVB, have ballooned in size, more than quadrupling in 4 years from $49 billion to more than $200 billion last year.
So let's get right to Rebecca Jarvis live on Wall Street tonight. Rebecca, you reported there it's not the taxpayers, but instead the FDIC that'll be covering the cost of these deposits, and that's funded solely by the banks. But two other questions for you tonight. What about these reports that some bank employees got bonuses right before all this happened? Will the government try to recover any of that? And then bigger picture here, a lot of talk about deregulation that happened involving many of these regional banks in recent years.
Well, David, there are certainly calls for clawbacks tonight. Senator Elizabeth Warren and others today saying if we're going to deter this kind of mismanagement in the future, then bank executives need to be held accountable. Meantime, the White House tonight pushing for greater regulations on smaller banks. These are regulations that were rolled back in 2018 by Congress during the Trump administration. David?
Rebecca Jarvis leading us off tonight. Rebecca, still many questions on this. We'll be looking forward to your reporting all week long. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.